Now, as you mentioned, today marks 5 years since the massacre at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. Well, tonight, the community held a vigil for their 17 lost loved ones. Yesterday, we spoke with Fred Guttenberg, who has never done an interview before on this day of remembrance, about his daughter, Jamie, the fight to protect students in schools, and the push by Republicans in Florida to make it easier to obtain guns. Joining me now is Fred Guttenberg. His 14-year-old daughter, Jamie, was murdered in the mass shooting at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. He's also the author of the upcoming book, American Carnage, Shattering the Myths that Fuel Gun Violence. Fred, it's always an honor to speak with you. I see the beautiful picture of Jamie behind you, the image of her behind you. And I know you've done interviews talking about that, the time that passes as these anniversaries come and her birthdays come and all of these milestones happen, it gets harder. It doesn't get easier.
This year, and really actually quite recently in particular, my wife and I have come to the realization we can't find new photos. We've looked at all the videos. There are no memories that we haven't thought of, and in fact, tomorrow morning, I've been working on writing something to talk about how I'm feeling with regard to that, because it's a really strange place to be in. The memories have stopped. So we're working on making new memories in Jamie's memory and her honor, but it's hard to comprehend the idea that your 14-year-old daughter, your forever 14-year-old daughter, who should be living the best moments of her life, it's just stopped.
Yeah, it is a strange thing because, as you said, she is sort of frozen at 14 in that memory. But it's a weird way in which you're like still having them in your life. And I feel that way about my mom. She's been passed a long time, but it's like you're still thinking, well, what would she be thinking right now? What would she be doing? How would she be handling this or that? Because in a way, in your mind, you're still parenting this child. And so as you look at the children her age who are in Florida, in a state that is pushing to repeal the good things that they did after Parkland. I mean, Parkland actually was miraculous in its outcome, in that, a state that has Marion Hammer as the real governor, they actually passed like a pretty good law to raise the age to 21 for assault rifles. But now they're pushing to have permitless carry. They're pushing to make it easier. The state of Missouri is doing something similar and trying to make it legal for children to open carry, and saying it's illegal to stop them from carrying. When you see that happen, how do you, as Jamie's dad, think about that?
Joy, when this interview is shown tomorrow, it's going to be 5 years. 5 years. And I have never, ever done or allowed an interview to be shown on a day that we are going to remember what happened in Parkland. I've always kept it as a private day. One of the reasons why I'm wanting this to happen tomorrow night is because those legislators in Florida who are about to embark on making Florida a more dangerous state, who are about to ensure that they are making decisions that will lead to more dead children, more families like mine, they need to receive this message before they hold another hearing, which, by the way, is going to happen within a day or two after tomorrow. It is without, I can't express deeply enough the insanity behind not just the permitless carry, but here's how crazy they are. School grounds. You will still need a permit to carry a weapon on a school ground. But if you're caught without a permit, the penalty is being reduced from a felony to a misdemeanor. In other words, kids who want to kill, go test the grounds, figure out what you want to do. If you get caught, you'll get a slap on the wrist and come on back. It is insane what they're doing. There's no safety component involved. And unfortunately, it's all about red meat for the base. They don't give a you-know-what about safety of the voters and citizens who live here.
I think about, and it's not just Florida, it's Texas, it's Missouri, it's a lot of these red states. I mean, their solution is give kids clear backpacks, right? Give kids armored backpacks, give teachers guns.
DNA test kits to parents.
Yeah, and saying, well, here's your DNA test. I mean, it all seems to be centered around their submission to the idea that more kids are going to get killed. And here are some tools to help you get away when the shooting starts. Yep. As somebody who had kids in Florida schools, that would terrify me because you have a son that has got to go to school. And the idea that these legislators don't seem to want to stop the shootings. They just want to make it so that maybe more kids can get away or one or two of the shooters get caught. They don't seem to have decided they're empowered to stop it.
We are raising a generation of kids who expect that they may be the next victim of gun violence. That's what we are doing by our failure to solve the problem. And I'm glad you mentioned the varieties of states, because it really gets to the fact that there are certain states that are responsible for pushing gun violence out across the country. It is the true border crisis in America that you have these permissive red states, guns for all, without any kind of sensible mechanisms to prevent those who intend harm, that don't only stay in the state where they're sold, they flow to other states. And so it is the true border crisis, and we need to solve this on a national level. I am so thankful for President Biden, who has taken step after step after step to do what he can. But, we're also in a race against some of these lunatic governors who are okay with your kids dying, because they are.
Yeah. And then who want to be elevated to the presidency so that they can do this at a national level and inflict the kind of pain that your family, unfortunately, is going to be facing as this airs on everyone. I salute you, Fred Guttenberg. You are so heroic, and you do so much to try to prevent other families from being in this fraternity that you never, ever wanted to join. Thank you, sir. Thank you for all that you do.
Thank you.